Hi, my name is Austin Powell, and this is going to be my TED Talk on the power of vulnerability. Here's my classmates. There's Aaron and Sarah. Okay, see me? So I first want to open it up with a study that I read from Berkeley. And the study was done about why is it so hard to be vulnerable. And what they found was that showing vulnerability might sometimes feel more like a weakness from the inside, but to others, these acts look more like courage from the outside. And so I thought I might open it up with asking three of you if you just keep it to a minute and just talk about what is so hard about being vulnerable. Aaron, if you want to start.
Um, I think vulnerability is hard because there's like fear behind it. So um, yeah, like I think sometimes there's like a fear of like being judged or like misunderstood or just
Yeah.
anything. Or there's like bad experiences people have seen or like experience that kind of makes it hard to be vulnerable and like open up. But yeah,
Yeah, so like past hurts, things like that, like
yeah.
could play a big part in that. I see how that could be an issue. Hunter, could you share on what like you think is the hard part about being vulnerable?
Yeah, I would say it would be the fear thing as well. I would say it's a fear of man type of deal, fear of being misunderstood, absolutely fear. Um, I would say, yeah, I think ultimately we all want to be understood. So a fear of being misunderstood is actually way bigger of a deal than it sounds in our heads, at least when we're there. So that might be an attributing factor.
Hmm. Yeah. And then Gabrielle, could you kind of open up about that as well?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest fear, or like if I was gonna attempt to be vulnerable, and like the worst case scenario would probably be that I'm understood, but I'm rejected
Hmm.
for my vulnerability. So I think that's what makes it fearful for me. Just the thought that somebody could actually understand how I'm feeling, or um, like my vulnerable state, and then be like, oh, that's actually like terrible. I don't want to hear about it.
Right. And the Berkeley study that was done, it also spoke on that we think that we'll feel rejected and that will be seen as like weird or just openly like too out about yourself. But what it's saying is that honestly, what a lot of people have found is that when other people are vulnerable, they feel like it's courageous. Um, and so I think we if we can get past that, we can find a lot of growth seen through vulnerability. And so I kind of wanted to share a story about the power of vulnerability in my own life, and it goes back to high school. It was my junior year, uh, and I just got my car. It's a 2009 Nissan Altima, Burgundy, and I thought that it was going to solve all my problems that I was having in high school. And what I was missing was actually my best friend, and it wasn't that she's like dead or anything, like she's good, but she had just actually received a gift herself, and it's a far greater gift that I got, or that anything that we could get on this earth. Um, she received the gift of salvation, and you know when you first give your life to Christ, you have this like moment of like spreading the gospel like everywhere, like you just want to tell everybody about it. But then also it's like a renewal process of like really stripping everything away and like trying to take out anything that is like worldly. Like it's just right in that moment of like giving your life over. And so what I didn't know is that she was going through that. And to me, in my perspective, it was she just wasn't my friend anymore, and that like I was just all alone. And so I isolated myself for months, and I felt so alone. And finally, I couldn't, I knew I wouldn't be able to get over it if I didn't like talk about it, and I wasn't vulnerable. So I went to my counselor at school, and I told her what I was going through. And I was just sitting in her office, and I was just weeping, not understanding what I was going through. And she couldn't really say much to really help me. It's like, what do you say to that? But she did say something, and it shifted my perspective. And she said, Austin, you realize the reason that you're hurting so much is because you love her so much. And that shifted my perspective of like, wow, I'm hurting because I'm loving so much. Like, it's through my hurt that it's just an abundance of love. And that really helped me get out of this like isolation and pain that I was feeling. But it was through vulnerability and through me like talking to somebody and getting it out that I was able to finally heal that moment of darkness and of feeling alone. And so I just encourage everyone in this room that if you feel like you can't be vulnerable, if you feel like you're going to be made fun of or rejected for your vulnerability, that people actually see it as encouraging, and people see it as something that can really help with healing.
Yeah.
And so I just encourage you all to be vulnerable yourselves. Thank you.